What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another review with me, ODC, that's me. This is my review of the Marvel Legends Ant-Man Build-A-Figure Infinite Series Age of Ultron Prime Build-A-Figure, whatever you want to call it. Ultron Prime right here. Yeah, so here is Ultron Prime. He is very, I would say, lackluster. I would say his sculpt is probably accurate to the movie and to the character himself, but the character portrayed in the movie. I would say his sculpt is accurate, but the paint is just atrocious on this guy. Yeah, it just the feeling of this figure. I would say the sculpt is the highlight of this figure. But as a Build-A-Figure, I just, yeah, just not. I'm not feeling this figure for some reason. I don't know why. But before I get into all that, and I'll get into reasons why, I'll point them out. Don't worry. But I just feel like it could be better. It just feels cheaply made. I don't know. But anyway, as far as his articulation goes, let me just jump right into that because I'm not going to spend too much time on this guy. His head does swivel side to side. It does look up about that far. Let me see. I'm trying to try and get it as far back as possible. No, can't really look up. That's about as far as it goes. Looks down nicely. He can swivel full 360 rotation. He does have the head tilt. And we'll see you got some jive turkeys. Oh, we got some jive turkeys up in Ultron. Okay. And his arms go up about that far. They do go down. Full 360 rotation. He's got a bicep swivel, a double jointed elbow. He's got a wrist hinge and a wrist swivel right there. And then we have an ab crunch. Let me just fix my camera here. We have an ab crunch, which ratchets all the way back. I'm not a big fan of the detail stopping right here. I think that kind of looks bad. But whatever. The detail is continued on the back portion, but not the front. So, but it does go forward about that far. Waist swivel, T-joint hips, which I mean is really something to be desired in this split. This is about as far as the splits go. That's pathetic. And that's about as far as the leg goes forward. That's kind of pathetic too. The sculpting gets in the way of all of this. They should have retooled this so he can go out a lot further. I don't understand why they decided to do that. Just laziness, I guess. He does have an upper thigh swivel. His legs also go back. They go actually back further than they do go forward, I think. So, he does have a bicep swivel, upper thigh swivel, double jointed knees. He does have an ankle hinge, and he does have an ankle pivot. But unfortunately, the ankle pivot, and I wanted to point this out, is actually stressing on the sculpting right here. So be careful with this ankle pivot. Try to glide it a little bit easier. Because eventually it's going to start digging into the ankle pivot portion right here, and it's going to start digging into this and warping that piece of sculpting right there. So just something to know, to look out for. Just trying to look it out for. I'm looking out for you guys. Looking out for us collectors. But yeah. I don't know. There's multiple problems with this figure that I just don't like. I wasn't really looking forward to this Build-A-Figure, to be honest with you. I was hoping to get a Giant Man figure ahead of this. I feel like this figure could have waited for another Avengers wave. I understand the movie just came out, but this isn't in high demand for me. They could have made this an SDC exclusive and gave it a better paint deco, better paint with the red. The red looks like so boring red. It just looks like red plastic almost. It doesn't even look like it was painted red. I'm trying to see if that is actual paint, because it just looks like, I don't know. It's weird. It's really weird. It is paint, okay, but it's like the shittiest red paint. The silver portions, the parts, the silver parts are okay, but then you get to these gray pieces and it just throws off the look and feel of the figure. It just makes it seem like a cheap dollar store figure for some reason. And then it's got this like hollow torso. It just does, this figure does not feel like a Build-A-Figure. It just feels like a cheap figure. There's also silver paint on the front, on the upper torso. The head is silver in the front, silver up top over here, all the way down to here, to the bottom of the ab crunch, over here too, all on the front of the legs, and then all of a sudden down here there's no silver anymore. You turn around to the back, he has basically no silver from here down, all the way, so it's just like inconsistent all throughout this figure. It's just a really badly done figure, in my opinion. Also, there's no silver continuing to the back portion of the head. Why couldn't they finish painting this? I just don't understand. This is one of the worst Build-A-Figures that we've gotten in years, is right here. And I'd put this up against the Hobgoblin Build-A-Figure is a much better figure. I'd put this up against, hell, even the kit bashed Green Goblin is a better figure than this. I mean, paint wise, this is just, I don't know. And just the feel, like I said, the feel of this figure, it's light. It doesn't feel like, I don't know. I'm just not happy with it. And I'm not trying to sit here and just tear this thing apart, because I'm sure there's people that like this figure. But A, I don't really care for movie figures, so keep that in mind. B, but I do like movie figures. I like the Captain America movie figures. I like the Ant-Man figure. It's just, I don't know. This as a Build-A-Figure, it doesn't feel like a Build-A-Figure. Groot's a better Build-A-Figure. Who else? Thanos, which I didn't really care too much for that figure, is a better Build-A-Figure than this, and that was just as lazily done as this is. I don't know. Not feeling it. I'd say like I said, the sculpting on him is pretty well done, but I don't know, just the overall look, it kind of makes him look like a Terminator, like a T-800. Doesn't it look like a T-800 to you? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm going nuts. Maybe I've lost it. But I don't know. It just, I'm not feeling this. This paint job is horrible on this figure. It's really bad. And I've seen multiple people on actually Facebook's Marvel Legends community where they're like, oh, I redecoed and I repainted my my Ultron. Now it looks great. It's like, but you shouldn't have to do that. If they were to just put some TLC into this thing and give it some black paint shading, even if they didn't paint the rest, which they should paint this all silver, and so this gray plastic, this shitty, cheap-looking gray plastic, and gave it some black paint shading, it would have looked way better, in my opinion. So I don't know. This is a pass. I wouldn't spend money on this figure. I understand that you're gonna get the figure if you get the whole wave, but if you're just cherry picking anyway, and you were kind of on the fence, I think I want that Ultron, I don't know. I would say pass on him. He's not that great. He doesn't have very good leg articulation at all. I understand he's not supposed to be throwing, thrust kicks, and it's not supposed to be the most flexible character, but I don't know. It just comes off as a cheaply made figure. It's disappointing. It's just a disappointing figure. So, yeah, pass on this. But that's pretty much my story. I'm sticking to it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks for watching, as always, and I'll see you guys on the flip side.